Sweet. Um,
Do I look very pale? I think I look very pale.
hey, let me see.
Might be,
I think you look great.
might be the white.
It's probably the light.
Very light. And
I have very warm light, so I probably look more pink or red than I normally would.
I can contrast to some
Whatever you want to do, I don't mind. I have a black sweatshirt I can put on. It could be like yin and yang.
You are wearing a black sweatshirt.
It's brown. It's a brown shirt.
Oh, really?
I guess it looks like a sweatshirt, which is fine.
Are you where are you?
It's got a little pocket. Short sleeves. I'm in a closet.
You are in a closet.
Could you tell?
Let's see. No, let me see. What's good? Where? What do you? Let me see.
The closet?
Yeah.
All right. So there's some clothes. Did you not believe me? There's some stuff. Let's see. Here's some shoes.
There you go. Look at you.
Okay. I've got a little lamp, so I got a little more light.
Okay.
Okay. Today is day one of having like an actual, like anywhere close to a lunch. Even though this is called Creative Lunch Club, I have yet to have lunch during it. I've been saving it special.
Very good.
I don't actually think I'm going to eat, but maybe. We'll see. Maybe things will get spicy later.
There you go. Yeah, this is right now.
Sweet. So I want to do the thing that I've done so far, but I realized my link was broken on my website. It was fine. It just sent a link to the Google thing instead of
my calendar had the link that you sent me, so I already had it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I know the calendar invite had it, but I want to do at least for the next 2 minutes. I've been doing this really silly waiting screen, which I really like.
Okay.
So
this is my dad here, by the way.
Sweet. Hey, it's so nice to have you. Yeah, I'm trying to get I try and get my mom to watch because she's thinking about retiring soon, and I want her to think about like all the different things that she could do.
Hell yeah, that's beautiful. Give a dad.
شايفنا؟
La, you have something on your
yeah, I have my tape.
Hi.
Hi. مشت شعراتك.
So nice to see you.
Thank you.
How's my hair, Dad?
Better?
Better?
Yes.
Better.
You have a brush?
What is that?
Should I wear this so that I look more like a lumberjack?
Yeah. Please.
This is good.
Coming from a Middle Eastern background, you know, you really need to be careful.
We got to show them our colors.
With the beard and you know, funky hair.
Now, everybody home, they all look the same now.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's letting it go.
Everybody look the same.
I see. Okay, so what we're gonna do, just because I've done it every day, and I am late in the game today, so I got to do it for 1 minute. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play our like waiting screen, which looks like this.
What's up, Gabby? The stream will begin shortly. Look at that. Yo, that's so cool.
And then let's see. I have this really silly music that I found. Hopefully it doesn't blast everyone. Okay, everyone get ready because sometimes this music ends up being really loud. Can you hear it? Can everybody, can we hear the music?
This is so clutch, dude. Good job.
I just thought it was funny, you know? like a thing to do.
Yeah.
Why not?
How many episodes have you done so far?
Like so I've been doing it almost every day. So I the last 2 weeks has been 4 days, and then the first week was a full set. So I'm up to 13. No, yeah, 13. I'm going hard. I gotta get a few things up. Okay, everyone. I think we're ready to go. Welcome to the stream. And welcome to Amer Jandali. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. Nice slow start to the day. Going at my pace. Feeling good.
Nice.
How are you?
The music's gone for everyone, right?
Unfortunately.
Sometimes it sticks around. I can't get it to go away, but I think I'm good. I'm good. I'm really excited to be chatting with you today, and also we don't know each other that well, and so I'm excited to explore your work and your process and like how you came to do the like many wonderful things that you do. And how's everybody else today? I see a lot of people in the chat, which I love. And so feel free as we're talking. Sometimes the way we'll do this is we'll have some people, we'll have the guest and me chat about them, and then we'll do questions after. But I think I'd like to make it a little bit more conversational. So if anybody wants to jump in or ask a question while we're chatting as it's happening, let's do that. Is that okay with you?
That's fine with us.
Great. So can you give us a little,
by the way, in Turkey?
Oh my gosh, amazing. You guys are calling in from Turkey?
Yeah.
Yes.
Turkey now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little overview of who you are, what you do, and if you want to, we can do some screen sharing so people can see what you're talking about, but whatever you want to do is cool with me.
Okay. We can start. Where do we start? Let's see. Well, I'm sitting in my apartment. I'm in Brooklyn.
Cool.
And I have been here in New York City for 5.5 years. And if we were to lay out the timeline, so I've been here 5.5 years. A year before that, I was in Saudi Arabia. And the entire, like my whole life before that was in New Mexico. So I was born and raised in New Mexico. And moved to New York for grad school.
Okay, and then you just decided to stay.
Yeah. Grad school, I came here. My program was the Design for Social Innovation at the School of Visual Arts. It's a brand new program at the time. And then I got a job exactly right out of grad school. And so that kept me going for 2 years in parallel to starting my own thing.
Right.
And slowly the job went away. Well, actually they closed their office here. And then my startup just took off. So everything just kind of has been evolving on its own. Yeah, very seamlessly.
Yeah, I want to jump into the like grad school conversation a little bit later. But can you give us like an overview of the company that you started, and what is your like day-to-day projects that you're working on now?
Yeah. Okay, so the name of my company is called Future Meets Present. And originally, I've been in a couple of podcasts recently, and I've just recounted the story, and I like just remember the first time that idea came to me, the idea of Future Meets Present. And do you remember reading about Adidas Parlay, like those shoes that are made out of ocean plastic?
I didn't read about it, but I've heard of different, like accessories or items that are made from plastics and things like that that are harvested from ocean.
Yeah. So I think the first time I heard about that was like 4 years ago, like shortly after I moved to New York, and I read about Adidas making shoes out of ocean plastic. And I don't know what it was in that moment. It just looked like this is what it looks like when the future meets present. Like in the future, everything's going to be made out of recycled materials. Everything's going to be made responsibly. Like that was the thinking. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, cool. So actually it started out as a hashtag. So future meets present was just something I would just share things and then hashtag future meets present. And so, yeah, that's the umbrella idea, this concept that the future is expressing itself in the present. And my work takes the form of design. So I use design to bring that future to life, is what we say. I can show you the first thing we're designing. Have it here handy.
Nice.
Bandana. Christine Noor, Gabriella knows it. Christine Noor, check it out. This is a bandana or a bracelet that opens up and turns into a shopping bag. Check it out.
And did you come up with this idea? This
Yeah.
is something that you worked on a team to do? It looks super simple and well built. And how did you?
What was the origin of this guy?
Yeah, like, so, okay, maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. I want to ask, in terms of like your journey, you went to grad school, you went to SVA for design for social innovation, and then you sounded like you got a job, but before you went to grad school, were you doing design? What was your job before you decided to go to grad school when you were in New Mexico, right?
Yeah, New Mexico. No, not at all, actually. Yeah, and I think we might have put this in the post, but I was a nightclub DJ.
An award-winning one,
yeah,
apparently.
Yeah,
that was your full-time job?
Full-time for 4 years.
Wow. I thought maybe that was something you were doing as like a job, but also like maybe something else. Okay, so you were doing, okay, so you're full-time award-winning DJ.
Yeah.
For 4 years. That's incredible.
Yeah. It was super cool. It was amazing, man. It was sick. It was super awesome. I started DJing like right in my senior year of college. And then that just turned into bigger gigs. And then eventually it just got to a point where it was sustaining me. And so I just let it ride. And, you know, my parents are here, coincidentally, which is cool. And then, you know, we had talked about it. I'm like, guys, I think I wanted to see this through. The original thinking actually was that DJing would lead to acting.
Okay.
That was the thinking. Growing up, I always saw myself as an actor. I saw myself on stage. I saw myself contributing in some way to groups of people, sending some sort of a positive message. Like that's all I knew.
Right.
You know, I was thinking acting would be it. So DJing took off, and then thinking it would lead me to acting, and it just built for about 4 years. And I really enjoyed the DJ career a lot. I was on stage, I was connecting with people, which is truly what I love doing. So connecting with people, and then the war in Syria started in the middle of that DJ career too. And I would use my platform to raise awareness about that. I would wear shirts that just said "Free Syria, damn it," because we're Syrian. I would just raise awareness about that. I did this one fundraiser one time where if we raised $2,000 in a night, I would wax my chest.
Okay.
In the club. It's seriously, yeah, Gab, I see you laughing. It was the worst thing ever. You can even YouTube it, like Amer Jandali chest wax. It's the worst. But point being, this career ended up being a way for me to spread messages that I didn't even know needed to be spread at the time.
Right.
So it was cool. And then I had a radio show as well. And it was called Stuff You Don't Hear on the Radio. And same thing, I would talk about Syria. I would talk about plastic bags, which is something that I learned about while I was a DJ. And so all of this stuff started coming together, and then I watched this documentary about plastic bags, and it just shifted everything. That was a shift. And
then you what was like the next step? So you had this career, things were going well, you're waxing your chest in front of presumably hundreds or thousands of people.
Hundreds of people.
Okay. And then your life changed and you decided to go to grad school. What was the decision like? Because sometimes when you are thinking about moving into different channels. I'm sorry, I'm getting like weird text messages right now. That's something about like check your email, New York Times. I like don't know what's happening right now. So I am a little bit distracted because I don't know what is happening. But anyway,
We're on it.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe something exciting. Maybe I'm in trouble. I don't know. But anyway, so you decide to go to grad school, and so for me, if I think about going to grad school, I mean, it's like a huge expense, right? Especially for SVA, people that are going in are usually spending anywhere between like $100,000 and like $150,000 for different programs. How did you think about that expense and how that was going to shape your future? Did you feel like you had this career coming out of it that was assured, or especially for the School for Social Innovation, compared to other schools, is there like a particular job that you get when you're coming out of it that is assured, or was that something like where you took a risk?
Yo, that's such a good question. And no, 100% not. And the field of social innovation is very much still emerging and still finding its own identity. There's no way, and that was like, bless my parents too, is weird because I have a hard time even describing succinctly what social innovation is, let alone in Arabic. Like, you know, when my parents are talking to our family members and he's going to do this program, it's like, how do you even explain that? So no, there's not a clear-cut job what you would be going into directly after grad school. It was a huge risk. And then on top of that too, we were the third graduating class. So the program was still super new at the time. But the thinking was originally, to answer your question, I actually originally wanted to go to school for branding. And the thinking was, here I am as an artist, as a DJ, on stage, sending a message.
Right.
I learned about plastic bags. I'm challenging the normalcy of plastic bags in my community. I was talking about on the radio and different things.
Right.
Thinking about how can I take all of this to the next level? And I'm thinking about moving to New York, going to grad school, studying branding so that I could brand myself better as a DJ. And I can work with brands like Nestle or just like whatever, and start working on this plastics issue. Like, that's as far as my thinking went.
Right.
And that was enough to motivate me. And so I actually ended up coming here to New York 4 times to try and apply to the branding program. Like, I even flew out here from Mexico to hand deliver my application just because I wanted to make a good impression. And like,
that's awesome.
He was like, just go to the registrar. Like, what are you doing? Submit it online, you know? I was like, oh, God.
They're like, you can't even hand it in, right? Exactly. Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I invested so much in my little folder, making it glossy and beautiful, you know? And she was like, dude, just freaking submit this PDF online. I was like, oh, God. But I started seeing how my life was completely orienting around this new direction.
Wow.
You know, and then so I applied to this program, whatever, and then I fly out for an interview and I don't get accepted. She says, your work history is great, your DJ career is awesome, but we need you to have some experience in advertising or marketing if you want to get into the branding program. And I'm like, yo, why did you have me fly all the way out here? You know?
Yeah, seriously.
Turns out she thought I lived in New York because of how often I was showing up.
Oh.
Yeah. But I don't know. Had she not thought I lived there, had she not invited me in, she wouldn't. I don't know. And anyway, that conversation freed up my next year. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to get this experience now and apply to the branding program?
Right.
Long story short, this ended up opening a door to move to Saudi Arabia and work in the advertising agency.
That's incredible. How did you find that opportunity?
My parents, actually.
Shout out to parents. Yeah.
This was this whole shift, and they ran into a family member who was managing an advertising agency.
Sure.
And one conversation led to the other, and they offered me a job at Ogilvy. I worked at Ogilvy. And I flew out. I left the DJ career and everything, and I went to Saudi. And then, so here's what happened is like, about a week before submitting my application to the branding program, because that's still what I'm thinking, right? About a week before submitting that application, I get this random email from the Design for Social Innovation department. And then I'm just like, I'm thinking that I had made a mistake somewhere online or something. And I'm like, I wrote back and I'm like, hey, no, I'm actually applying to branding. And then she says, oh, okay, well, like, good luck, you know, we just.
So it was a mistake.
I think they just had my name in the system or something.
Okay.
I don't really know. But I looked into the program a little bit more, and the language spoke to me. It was, this program is intended for the next generation of designers who are going to change the world, who want to use design to solve social problems, who want to address climate change through design, who want to do this. And I'm just like, dude, that's it. And then it was just a no-brainer. I just switched. And then, so to answer your other question, the branding program was 1 year and DSI is 2 years, which meant double the financial burden. And then talked about it with my parents too. And it was like, hey, just freaking go for it. Like, take out a loan, you know.
That's amazing.
Afterwards, like, you might end up finding some debt forgiveness. You might land this sweet job. You can pay it off. Like, just go for it. Like, you'll figure it out later.
Sure.
No. So yeah, that's how those dots connect.
That's amazing. I mean, just when I think about going to grad school or you know, I don't think I would necessarily do that now, but like maybe, you know, based on the career that I have so far and like the things that I'm doing, like I really do wonder if going to grad school would have been the right decision earlier on, or if it would be the good decision now to like amplify the things that I'm doing, in terms of like path and like the way that you go about creating the things that you create. I'd be super curious to think, like, I'm assuming based on what you've said so far that what you created now with Future Meets Present and the Marketplace of the Future and Braceletote, do you think you could have made those things if you didn't go to grad school?
That's so cool. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. My initial answer is I don't think so, because it's only now, about 3 years after grad school, that I'm starting to realize, or I'm starting to implement the things that I actually learned. In terms of just the tactical frameworks and models of design thinking, interview styles, gathering research, what to do with that research when you gather it, how to test things, and how to make sure your solutions are working. Now is really when I'm starting to like, these are my tools. But those first few years was just about changing everything else in here. And it was about the total immersion. 2 years in a master's program, being around designers and hearing the conversations and being totally immersed in this. And at the same time, I started volunteering at the Center for Social Innovation. So I was volunteering there 1 day a week, while I was going to grad school too. So I was in the evening, I was taking classes. In the day, I was around people that were actually doing social innovation stuff. So my answer is no. It just started morphing and changing my worldview, and I just was surrounded by proof. I was surrounded by validation that people are aligning their values with their actions, and people are working in service of a vision. And that's just been nothing but rocket fuel for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I think no matter, I'm also rereading The Alchemist right now.
Oh, cool.
Your personal journey, you know, whatever they call it in the book. But I think everybody has that, and everyone's path is totally unique, you know?
Sure.
Whichever direction it is, that if you go this way or that way, like you might meander a little bit, but then ultimately like gravity's going to pull you back to this direction if this is really where you need to be.
Yeah. Right. Real quick, I would love to do a screen share so that some of the things that we've been talking about so far can kind of like take form. And I know that a few of the people in the room, Christy and Noor, they are doing an environmental futurist project called Resilience. And so I want them to be able to ask you some questions. I think they have to leave in the next 10 minutes or so. So I want to be sure that they can check in with you. But basically, I'm gonna just do this.
Noor, what's
up? So here's your
I love for
Instagram.
Arabic speakers and fellow Arabic speaking parents, because I was on the creative lunch hour last week and my mom also joined from Jordan, so this is really cool.
Amazing. Yo, Noor.
So I love the family connection. It's great.
So let's check out your website real quick. And then I think Christy and Noor are going to have some questions for you about the future. But this is the project that we've been talking about, which is, let me see if I can get my
We pivoted a little bit, actually, it's, as you can see now.
Okay, yes. So let's chat about that a little bit later. But like, this is Future Meets Present. Right when you come to the page, you guys have created an opportunity for people to make masks, and then you're sending them. Can you tell me a little bit about this mask initiative?
Yeah, we can dip into this very briefly. Since over the past few years, I've been working with different manufacturers to make my bags.
Right.
I have the resources here in America to manufacture soft goods.
Nice.
And now that we're finding ourselves in this pandemic, I started talking with one of them in particular in Kentucky. She's really great. Her name is Stacy. She's just been so good and responsive and thoughtful and caring, and texting me all the time, letting me know status and updates. She's working with me to make these masks, and we're drop shipping from there. So she has a pattern. We're making these masks. People can buy them here, and then she's sending them out. And we're using a portion of the proceeds to plant a tree, and then 50% of the profit is donated to a nonprofit as well.
That's incredible. And how fast were you able to do this? I mean, you through Future Meets Present and the network that you made through Braceletote, is this like something that's taken over everything? Has this been going well? Is this a small initiative? What's going on?
It's a small initiative for now. I just got my first order for 2,000 units from a psych hospital, actually.
That's incredible.
And we're going to ship those out next week.
All right. So that initiative aside, this is Future Meets Present. You guys visualize sustainable future and use social design to bring it to life. And these are the three entities. So Future Meets Present is kind of like an umbrella?
Yes.
Is it a parent company? What do you call it?
Yeah, parent company and an LLC. Yeah, an umbrella, all the above.
Cool. And then you guys create the Marketplace of the Future. I'm going to do a quick overview and then people can ask questions. But Marketplace of the Future is an event where, sorry, I'm reading the copy and I'm distracted. But you know, you're a Take on the World's Fair where you bring in organizations that are related to climate change. You do workshops, live jazz, and then you have this big event where people are imagining the future and how to bring the things that we need into today's world. Is that about right?
Yeah, hell yeah, you got it.
Should we play this video?
Do it.
Let's see, make sure we got sound here. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound.
That basil is beautiful.
That I want to spend my life with you. So I'm saying
Woohoo! Yeah. That looked like an awesome party.
Yo, it was so great.
Did you do a DJ set?
I did not.
What?
I did. No, I did it. I was running around, but my best friend, my roommate, he did.
Cool. I think this would be a good chance. I want to go through these pictures. So you had different vendors talking about different.
At a Sunrise
really?
Movement event, I think. I'm pretty sure. I've only been to one. But
Jonathan, I think that's the guy's name.
That's it.
yeah, I've only met him once, but
You had speakers. I love this photo. This is before you sent me a photo. This is the photo I used.
Bro, yeah, thanks.
I'm gonna ask you a question about this photo, and then I want to let Christy and Noor take over a little bit. Okay. What were you thinking in this exact moment?
Oh gosh, I think this is the moment that Mark Chambers, I believe, who is the head of the Department of Sustainability in New York, I think this is the moment that he was on stage talking. And I think it was like a simultaneous pure exhaustion and disbelief and awe that everything was finally coming together. And I was just so happy. I just couldn't believe it.
What a good capture. It's you can see the euphoria in your face. It's amazing.
yeah, man.
All right. We're going to come back to this and talk more about the marketplace of future. But Christy, Noor, do either of you have some questions you want to ask?
Yeah, I'll let Noor start because she's the one who actually has to like really leave.
I'm so sorry. I'm so happy that I got to actually meet you, and Matthew, thank you for bringing us onto the call today. So in a nutshell, Christy and I are co-producing an alternate reality experience that takes place 12 years from now in the year 2032, centered on a US presidential election. I love your reaction.
Speaking my language right now. Let's go.
Exactly. So So Futurism it's essentially a futurist project, and we've been bringing together thinkers and thought leaders and futurists that are thinking about what our life will look like 12 years from now. And because the year 2032 also happens to be 2 years after the UN Sustainable Development Goals are meant to be due, so we've focused our story world on 3 main pillars, or in our research at least, on climate change related issues, which are a big part of our present, but also obviously our future. The future of data privacy and ethics and everything related to data and technology, as well as looking at systemic inequality. So these kind of are the 3 major phases, 3 major pillars that we've been exploring. And I've also collaborated with Matthew on a post-it installation in the times when we could still be in the subway and participate in art together. So yeah, right now, I guess my question for you is, I kind of missed the beginning, but my question for you is, what do you think? Where do you think we're going to be in the next 12 years? Through the lens of, I guess, the work that you do, or you do so much, so it's hard to pick, but I would be curious around, like, as an environmentalist, what kind of picture would you like to paint for us 12 years from now? And I'm going to add one more layer to this question that will make it easier. And
Hell yeah.
That's too big. But I would say, like, is there one thing that you know now that you didn't see clearly like 3 months ago or 2 months ago before COVID-19? Like, has COVID-19 made something clear to you over in relation to our future? Sorry.
No, you're killing it right now. I love this.
Sorry. So many layers to this question. Okay. Yeah.
Have you guys read the Future We Choose? Have you guys seen that?
No. Is it a book?
Yeah, it just came out February something. It's written by the 2 architects of the Paris Climate Agreement.
I wonder if Anita knows them.
Cristina Figueres, and then the other guy, Tom something.
Oops, cool. We will check it out. I haven't.
I haven't.
Yeah, it's new. You check. I think you'd really enjoy that, and it's written for the layperson, so she doesn't get too much jargon, not too technical, but it's so beautiful. She talks about they first start talking about how do you even get something like the Paris Climate Agreement to even freaking happen, like logistically and administratively. The next section is, what does the future look like if we stay on the path we're on? And then she goes into, what is the future we need to create? And then so that 3rd chapter is so enchanting to me, and she starts out with talking about excuse me, she talks about if you're walking down the street in the future, it might feel a little bit maybe humid or mucky because it might feel like a forest. And chances are you are in a forest because trees are now everywhere. And she just talks about, this is what the vision is. And she just keeps building on that. And it's really cool and it's exciting to me because it's not something like just, oh, this would be cool to see. It's very needs based. Like we need it to look like that. And a lot of the qualities that she talks about in that chapter, and this is actually a direct answer to your question, a lot of qualities she talks about in that chapter resonate with me a lot because of what we're experiencing now. She talks a lot about local community resilience and not needing to go farther than your local group to get the things that you need. Food's going to be growing everywhere because that's what needs to happen. And that's how communities are going to evolve. So a lot of the things that she's been talking about that I'm listening to this book before the pandemic, I'm seeing a lot of these qualities now. We hear the birds. People can see the tops of the Himalayas. The air is clearing up. Los Angeles had the clearest air in the country, whatever that was in the news. All these qualities we're starting to see now. And that's informed me a lot. I think this pandemic, aside from the obvious threats and dangers, is a super gift for us right now. Big time.
Yes. Yeah. Cool.
I noticed in like your marketplace of the future, there was a lot of like things of growing, and there was basil, and there was like what looked like a sort of hydroponic-y situation. I think in a lot of the futures things that we've been looking at, we've been seeing a lot of a prediction of more indoor gardening and sort of like local homegrown foods in a more technology kind of way, as opposed to a more everywhere is a forest kind of way. I'm curious with like the community that you know, how you've seen those two paths develop. Do you think they'll like both be existing simultaneously, or
Yeah, definitely both simultaneously. And I think another thing that is really super good to hold on to here is that a vision is one thing, but then
I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I just have to hop off. So I just want to say it was sharafna. It was really beautiful to meet you. I really hope that we set up a time to connect. Fun fact: the name of our project is Resilience. I don't know if you knew that when you answered when you talked about resilience in your answer. So
I didn't know that.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, looking forward to connecting later. Thank you so much for having me. This was
Bye,
really
Noor.
cool.
I'll find you guys.
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
We'll connect.
Be safe. مع السلامة. Bye,
Bye.
parents. I love that the parents are here.
Bye.
Yes.
Where were you?
Well, I don't know, and so we can co-create this too here, right? So I just think it's definitely going to be a synthesis of both, because we need it to be a synthesis of both.
Yeah.
There's going to be the basil that you really enjoy comes from Bowery farming.
Right. There was some company that was having basil at I co-work out of the Hub 17 Lululemon space sometimes, and there was some company that was growing basil indoors, but I think it was Brooklyn, so maybe it wasn't the same. Anyway.
Yeah.
Basil.
You got these companies that are emerging. You got Aero Farms, which is the world's largest, or at least the United States' largest aeroponic farm in New Jersey. And you got Bowery Farming that just opened up their second location in DC. You got the Brooklyn Grange, Gotham Greens that has their greenhouse on top of Whole Foods. Gotham Greens was at our marketplace 2 years ago, and we had Bowery Farming last year. So all these companies are finding their own niche. And at the same time, there's a bunch of, in parallel to that, a lot of companies that are restoring soil. There is this amazing nonprofit called the Carbon Underground Project. And they have crowdsourced the process of restoring soil. They've mapped out the amount of soil around the whole globe that needs to be restored in order to meet our goals. They've quantified that cost and are crowdsourcing it. So for $5, you can adopt a meter of soil. You just spend $5 and that's enough money that a farmer or someone would need to restore that soil for its ability to sequester carbon.
Wow.
Super cool.
Yeah, I think soil, like putting the carbon back in the soil and making soil that's usable and healthy is something that like we're not talking a lot about. at least in the conversations that I've seen. There was the documentary with, there's a documentary I watched recently that talked a lot about that, but I feel like that's not in the forefront of a lot of climate conversations. What, I guess, that's not a question.
So if I can jump in, I'm gonna
yeah,
swoop.
please jump in.
Rip it up, man.
Let's chat about environment impact and some of these things in like a little bit. I don't want to get too far away from our like creativity arc that I'd like for us to be on our journey, because
Thanks,
sometimes we can get really involved in the ideas, and that's amazing. Let's do that. What I'd like to focus though on is like the journey and the creativity that kind of like brought all those things together. And so to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, in a way that brings the conversation back to the work is, you know, in the future, there's going to be all these different ways that people are going about innovating, like adopting plots of soil for $5 and then bringing carbon back into that revitalized soil. If to come back to Braceletote, this is an idea. I'm sure that there were lots of different ideas that you had that were related to plastic bags. And I'm going to screen share again, so we can get back to the visualization of it. Let's see. Why did my window go away? Braceletote. Here we go. Okay. Screen share.
Oh yeah. Thank you,
okay.
About Sweden. Yeah, we'll bring that up later.
So here we go. We got Braceletote.
Yeah.
This was your first idea? Was it your fifth idea? Did you have like a million ideas, or was this like the one? And you were like, I'm doing it, and I'm going for it.
This was the one without me really realizing it.
Okay.
When this whole conversation around plastic bags started back in the DJ days, there were some initiatives that I started taking back then too, just talking about it on the radio. And then I started organizing. I didn't get a chance to see this through because that's when I moved away, but I started organizing a plastic bag drive. So any person in Las Cruces would leave, you know, that whole bag of plastic bags that we all have under our sink?
Yes.
Somebody would leave that, you would leave it outside on the curb, and then we would come around, pick it up, recycle it properly, and then give you a tote bag.
Oh, whoa, that's cool.
So that's something that I started thinking about and organizing before I moved away. But so this seed was dormant. When I got to grad school, we had a shop class, and the class was design a tool to solve a social issue. And in that class, I started thinking about different things that had nothing to do with plastic bags. I was thinking about, I wanted a doormat that would sanitize your shoes as well as dust them.
Oh.
Kind of cool.
There's a lot of nasty stuff in New York that people walk through and they don't think about it.
Exactly. And then I thought about a to-go container that would change colors if the food went bad. So a homeless person could see what was good to eat or something, whatever. Anyway, nothing was hitting. And then my friend Lauren one day was like, dude, why are you wasting your time? Like, didn't you come here to work on plastic bags? And I was like, yeah, dude, you're so right. Thank you for that. And as soon as she said that, Matt, I don't know, I cannot explain it to you, but I know exactly where I was. I was in the second table in the computer lab, in the computer all the way farthest to the right. I was sitting there at the computer sketching things, and she was like, why don't you do something about plastic bags? And immediately I saw it because, well, I took them off now, but usually I wear bracelets, like the Livestrong bracelets. And I didn't have anything that said anything about reusable bags. And I didn't want it just to say bag. I wanted it to be a bag. I wanted a bracelet.
Right. You made a plastic bracelet that encourages people to not use plastic bags.
Yeah. How lame, you know? Whatever. Like, I wanted it to be functional. I wanted it to be proof.
Yeah.
And I saw it instantly. I saw it. And it was blue, and it was handmade, and it was wrapped, and it looked like a bandana. And then I Googled bracelet tote bag. I Googled wrist tote bag. I Googled all this stuff, and I didn't find anything. And so I made my first one, and it was like this big. It's like small. It was not functional at all, but it was just for the purpose of the project.
Sure.
And then slowly I would show people and they'd be like, dude, this is a good idea. You should do this, whatever. And seeing that there was nothing on the internet, that kept me going. And then so it's gone through like 30 different iterations over the past 4 or 5 years, in parallel to having a day job. So just working on it nights and weekends, trying to figure this out. Like, also the biggest thing is I've wanted it to be made in a way that's super aligned with my values. Like this material on the outside is all fabric scraps.
Cool.
So
where do you source the fabric scraps?
There's a place here in New York called Fab Scrap. And yeah, people nod their heads. Yeah, it's cool. They're a wonderful little community. It's they have big rolls of fabric that other brands discard. And yes, they are very super cool. So each one of my colors is going to be limited edition.
That's so cool that you incorporate the like limited edition scarcity, but in a fun, celebrated way.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
The idea here is to promote promote waste as a resource. That's the way nature does it. There's no such thing as waste in nature. Every system's output is another one's input. So we want that. That's what we're doing here. And then so the inside is, this is a nylon, but it's a recycled nylon, and it's a ripstop. So you could see the little grids. We've tested this multiple times with 50 pounds of dumbbells held in the gym. We have a gym in my building and we hold it overnight, 50 pounds. And it's totally fine. It's super duper strong. It's machine washable. It doesn't go anywhere. And this material took me years to find. But it's certified. It's 100% recycled. It's super strong. It's lasting forever. When you wash it in the washing machine, it's super clean. It comes out brand new. And it lasts. It's doing really well. Yeah, so then these two components working together, you just pull it back in like that.
Super easy. I gotta get one. I don't have one right now.
I have about 3 that I own at this moment.
And you're not producing them right now because you've moved your operation to making masks.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to find your apartment and steal one.
No problem, dude. I got you. You see him? You see him hanging right there.
Yeah. Nice. I want to ask one more question about kind of the branding and journey, and then we can open it up if anybody wants to ask questions or talk about whatever.
Yeah.
So time-wise, just to try and like place things in, you're in school for design for social innovation. Somewhere in there, you start creating Future Meets Present. What came first? What was the first one?
This.
Okay, so Braceletote came first. You start working on that.
Yeah.
How long after that did the next thing come?
I love the way your mind works. I think, yeah, this happened first semester, first year, and that was 2015.
Okay.
The first semester, first year, started thinking about this, started working on this. And then that's when I started becoming more hyper aware of the news, like the Adidas shoes. And like, for example, Gabriella, my friend here, she was telling me about Sweden and how they're leading the world in reforestation and rewilding. This is new news, but things like that is what I became more aware of in the past. I mean, during this time. And that's when I started hashtagging Future Meets Present.
Got it.
This is a concept. And then in that time too, I challenged myself personally to see if I could limit my amount of waste to 1 Ziploc bag for a month. And every time I would post about that, I would hashtag Future Meets Present. So it started taking a shape of its own. And then when I worked for the company I worked for after college was called Dopper. It's a reusable water bottle company. That is where the Marketplace of the Future was born. Actually, I created that event for them.
Got it.
Because I was operations and events and marketing, everything. We were a team of 2 here because they're based in Europe.
Did you call it Marketplace for the Future?
Yeah.
And then they didn't like get mad at you that you wanted to create your own thing, or are you still making it with them?
No, I'm not. So they're based in Europe and they had an office here. And it was an event. It was a promotional event during Climate Week.
Got it.
And so fast forward now, so this was 2014, 2015. I graduated in 2016. And then that year in 2016, September, Climate Week is when I came up, or when we did the Marketplace of the Future for Dopper. Later on the following year, they shut their US office down. And then so I still maintained those contacts. I still maintained everything. We just kept it going. And they've been supported from the start. So there was no conflict there.
So there wasn't like a proprietary issue where they were like, no, that's our name. You can't do it. Because sometimes that happens. It's really annoying.
I know. Yeah, no, I actually have to just spend a moment and praise that company because they've given me so much opportunity. While I was working for them, they gave me time during the week to work on this. Like they knew about this project and they were like, dude, if you need to go look at fabrics, if you need to go like do your thing, it's all in the same mission. So it was really cool.
So you've got Braceletote. You're starting to work on that. It's building. You start using this hashtag future meets present when you see cool stuff on the internet. Marketplace of the Future happens because you're working in another company. And then these things are all concurrently happening. When does future meets present become an entity?
September 2017.
And it's because, what was your motivation for starting it? Was it because you needed something larger to encompass the projects? I'm sort of leading you somewhere because like I have the same, it's like a similar journey that I'm on, that I'm just starting. Like Art Plus People is like an entity that I've been wanting to create to encompass my other things. But it's taken me like 3 or 4 years to get there. And so, you know, when did Future Meets Present start?
Well, hold on. So spend a moment on that. But also because my parents have never heard of that. And Gabriella, I don't think she's heard of that. Like spend a moment on Art Plus People. I think we can connect some dots here.
Okay. So Art Plus People is an entity that I essentially launched when social distancing began. I had been talking about it though. Join us. Come on in. Yeah.
Are you bringing me attention? That's a coconut flake and coconut milk. Dude, I love
it. Nice.
Thank you, man.
So good. What a roomie. Yes. Look at, we can eat. I've got a mortadella and cheese, open face Sammy, baby. Here we go. This is the first lunch that's been eaten on this show.
Paving new ways. Oh yeah, baby.
Let's take a bite. I'm gonna talk with my mouth full because it's funny to me. I'm going for it.
He's so good in the kitchen.
So I started this project.
Go ahead.
Subway Therapy. Almost 4 years ago now. Real quick.
It's amazing. Gabriella,
I'm just gonna do like a.
This project is fantastic. I heard about this project before I even knew him.
I'm gonna do
saw it happening in real
screen
life
share
before I knew who he was.
I'll do a quick screen share just so that people can see a visualization, and then we can keep talking if people want to hang out for longer. But you know, we can do like an official thing. So Subway Therapy started earlier on. These are like images of people that I've been doing interviews with. I found out that posting on my Instagram was not like the best thing to do, and using the stories was better, which is what I did with Amer. But basically I go out in the subway and I ask questions like this. This was actually a question that I did for Resilience 2032. It's like a partnership with Subway Therapy and Resilience. And we went into the New York subway and asked, when was the last time you needed to be resilient? And I think there was like 2,000 people that responded or something along those lines. And then I basically sent all the notes with them, and they toured. And they were going to tour more places, but then some of those things closed. Christy, you want to jump in?
I have them. They're on my shelf, which I should put them up like you have them.
Yeah, if you do put them up, I have a wall in my apartment right now that they're up on. This was in Berlin. I do a project. I try and go somewhere unique, somewhere in the world. I was supposed to go to Dubai this year, but you know, COVID hit and that changed things entirely. And so this is in Berlin last year. But yeah, I do projects in the subway. These are all notes that people wrote in public space. I mentor young people at the door. This is a crew that I mentor and work with. They're underserved youth. they need help and services, and the door provides a lot of that structure for them. And yeah, let me see. Okay, so this is after the election in 2016 when the project went viral. Tens of thousands of people wrote. I mean, in this space, there's probably like 20 or 30,000 notes just in that little block. And then it spread to other places around the world and in the nation and stuff. But yeah, that's basically like my jam. But anyway, I do this. And then I also do phone projects where I invite people to like share secrets with a telephone. It's called Secret Telephone. I got to put some pictures of it on the Instagram. Let's see. But if you go to secrettelephone.com,
oh my God,
you can pick up this phone and share a secret. And then you can go to Listen to Secrets and listen to them.
My secret is that my husband is an obsessive shopper.
So that's a real secret that somebody left at that installation in public space. They picked up the phone and they pressed the button to record.
My name is Mehdi, and I gave up my keto diet because of waffles.
So anyway, I do these participatory works, and after COVID came around, I just couldn't do my work anymore. And then I thought, okay, what'll I do? And I'd been talking about Art Plus People for a long time as being like this new thing that I should be doing. And so I just built out this website real quick in like a couple of days. And I was like, all right, well, you know, I want to support my friends who are doing this work. So then I have these are basically 2 other projects that are in the network. And then I started having conversation. I created a resource so that people could, you know, stay creative, find community stuff, tips for working from home. There's like some list of activities. And then that everybody and their brother made a resource. So then I was like, okay, well, what's my capital here? I have great conversations. I like talking to new people. Let's do a lunch series where I have chats with people. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Dude.
Had great conversations all week with different people, and then people can listen to the broadcasts here. So anyway, to kind of talk about the structure, it's like I started all that stuff, you know, subway therapy started in 2016, early, not after the election, but early, and it kind of made its way there. And then I wanted to get back to this secret thing I was doing, and so I did the Secret Telephone in 2017 or 2018. That evolved in 2019. I got a team. And I still didn't have anything that connected any of them together. And so I invented Art Plus People just essentially out of nowhere that could be an entity to connect all the things that I was doing so that if people hired me, they wouldn't be hiring Matt Chavez, the creator of Subway Therapy and Secret Telephone and the People Phone. I wanted them to hire or work with Art Plus People, an organization that promotes the development and implementation of innovative public works that help people feel good and express themselves and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, where did that name come from?
I'd been thinking about it for so long. Somebody pitched Go Public. So I was talking about, I want to do this show that's like the Tonight Show, but out in public space. It's called like the Public Show. And so I get like a desk and I bring it out to like Union Square, and then I get a couple lounge chairs, and then the guests become like random people that are around.
I love it.
It sounded fun. So I have all these ideas about like people, public. I was like, all right, maybe I'll call it the Public. The people seems on the nose, but and then I'm like, all right, well, I don't know where Art Plus People came from. I think a lot of times ideas will come from me riffing, and I'll just be like spitballing stuff with friends, and they'll be like, yeah, maybe like, it's like your work is like art and people. And I'll say, no, it's not art and people. It's art plus people. Like art and people is like some guy walking around in an art gallery looking at a piece of art. That's art and people. they're in the same space, but they're not necessarily even benefiting from the other, or at least it's a one-way thing. Art plus people is like works that could not be created without people's participation. And so it really is the sum of those two entities. Anyway, that's like the pitch. I was saying that to somebody and that was the pitch. And so I thought, oh, maybe that's a good name. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not even a company. Like maybe I just start hashtagging stuff and then they can grow from there, right? I don't know.
I love that. I think it's perfect. It's so cool. It's beautiful. I can't believe you got that domain.
I don't know how people, art plus people, I have everything except for Twitter, and hopefully I can get that because some random person has it that's never posted and hasn't been active in like 6 years. So
it's fantastic. And I think what I'm hearing from you, Matt, too, is a lot of the qualities that make me excited about Future Meets Present too. When I hear art plus people, it's very inclusive. It's more a context really than anything else. It's this idea, it's this concept, it's this vision. It's so all encompassing, like you said, and it's not limiting at all. It lets you be so broad while still being consistent.
Is that how you felt about Future Meets Present? To bring it back to this, like, did you also have that same like yearning for some like connective tissue between the things that you were doing, or
it wasn't
a different reason?
It wasn't an explicit yearning when it came to Future Meets Present. That just sort of fell in. It just came to me. That was, and that's, I think it originated in something outside of me too. Like when I started seeing all these things, my natural modality was to see like, hey, these are all indicators. I was talking with Gabrielle the other day, and I like to imagine a snapshot of a sustainable future. Like think about that in your mind's eye, what that looks like for you. When I think about that, I see a time where renewable energy is normal. I see a time where I'm looking out my window at these brick apartments in Brooklyn, and there's plants growing all over them. I see all the rooftops white. I see solar panels on top, and I see wind turbines. I see the community garden around the corner from my house flourishing, and not just flourishing, but off like feeding the community. I see that, you know? And when you see that, now imagine a reverse time lapse. So everything that you're seeing now when it comes to picking up a water bottle and seeing that the materials are 100% recycled, or whenever you look down the street and you see this happening, or you see Tesla charging stations all over the place, it's like, whoa, it's happening. This is what it looks like when the future meets present. And
I love the idea of a reverse timeline. I think that should happen. A reverse time lapse, sorry.
Doesn't that look sick? Doesn't that like, yeah, we should create that.
I'm down. Let me know how I can help.
Let's do it.
And it's exciting. It's like, it's life-giving and it's inclusive. And that, I think, is what's given at least the undercurrent of energy in all of the projects that I do. And when it comes to the marketplace of the future, also just let's take a quick step back really quick. So Future Meets Present's division, what we do as a company is design, social design. So everything that I'm doing is a design project. I'm not a bag company, but I'm a design company that happens to create a solution in the form of a bag.
Right.
The place of the future is an event, but it's more a community design project in its truth. And then we also have this other project, which is designing a zero waste system for a co-working space. That's what systems design looks like. So it's using design to bring that future into the present, to allow it to express itself. And then so also to answer your questions too, Matt, it's like, it just seems like this language keeps building on top of itself, and it's becoming self-evident, and it's inclusive, and the feedback loop is very healthy.
Right. I think I've experienced a similar thing, and we'll see what happens with art plus people. Everything is evolving as it's happening. But I really enjoy, and maybe this is the last thing I'm going to ask about because I want people to be able to ask stuff. When you think about process versus product, for me, I'm a process-based artist for the most part. Like I'm starting things that aren't finished, knowing that I want to make room for them to grow as people are doing things. And so I'm really curious if you feel like you have the same. You're excited. Yeah. Someone joined.
Yo, dude, Jesse, what's good, man? How are you, dude?
There he is.
I'm all right, brother. I'm all right. I was curious. I heard about your product and what you've been doing. I've been following up on it. I'm over here from Las Cruces, New Mexico, guys. Hey, how's everybody doing?
Hey.
So I've been following up on what you've been doing. It kept me interested because I've seen that it's a solution for a huge problem we've been facing here, not only as a community, but, you know, the whole world. And so I've been following you in regards to what you've been doing. And when I see you were going live, I said, you know what, let me check out Amer and let's see what this is going on. So I wanted to chime in on you guys.
Yo, it's really good to see you again, man. Matt, Jesse is a friend of mine back from the DJ days.
Sick. That's awesome.
Yeah, we used to go out together, and then I used to freaking whoop his ass at Mario Kart.
Oh,
throwing it down.
I couldn't win this guy. I don't know what it is. He had like some type of cheat code, but he was send it to me, and I just could not win.
You gotta play some Mario Kart online. You gotta have a second chance.
We'll bring it back,
right? Redemption.
Good to see you, man. Thank you for popping in, dude.
Likewise.
Hey, so I was just asking, you know, in terms of process, you're doing things and they're evolving as you go. Can you make any recommendations for people right now who are thinking, I don't really know what to do? Like maybe people have lost their jobs and they're thinking about a new pathway that they're going to end up on.
Mm-hmm.
Can you maybe give some advice on how to think about something from a more process-based perspective instead of like trying to have this perfect thing that launches and goes really well and people love it?
Yeah. First thing to go back to the origin too is I think one of the most powerful moments of genesis is a heartbreak. When I saw that documentary about plastic bags, there just something shifted in me. It was just like this profound disbelief that an hour before I watched this documentary, the world I thought was normal was completely different. And I think we all experience that heartbreak in our own way. Whether it's, for example, like I just needed, I can't just eat nothing but carbs anymore, or whatever it happens to be, we all experience that heartbreak. And I think just allowing ourselves to be curious in that direction, seeing what we can do for ourselves and what organizations are doing something in that space. That's how, at least for me, it started unfolding. And then process is 100%, that process is the goal. I think I practice, and also this is true for social design. Here, I'm going to show you the book. This book I reference a lot. It's written by the program chair of my program where I graduated. It's called the Intergalactic Design Guide. Harnessing the Creative Potential of Social Design. And basically, one of the things that you take away from this book is that you're not supposed to know what the outcome is supposed to be when you start a project, when it's in service of other people. You're not supposed to. You do have an idea. If you're going into it with an idea, you're just only going to be working for that idea as opposed to working for what it needs to be. Curiosity, working with your community, working with the needs of other people, allowing the research to guide it. I could have launched this thing 3 years ago, but if I was thinking all I want to do is make a bracelet tote, I would have pigeonholed myself, versus thinking about, I want to make something that's going to make it easy for people to carry their bags. Then I start opening up and looking at what's actually happening in the world. And I don't know if you remember last summer, everyone was wearing bandanas. Just suddenly everyone started wearing bandanas. So having that space was like, all right, let's make it longer and let's make it actually something that people can wrap around, because it used to be much smaller. Look. It used to be this big.
Oh, so you could only wear it as a bracelet.
Yeah, exactly. Like barely being able to tie around your. So it was literally a bracelet tote. Like it was just like this.
And making it like just slightly longer gave more options to the buyer, user.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. More versatile. I wanted people to be able to wrap it around anything. So the process is the goal.
If anybody wants to ask questions, we're on time-wise. I want to be respectful of everybody. If you got to jump out, it's totally cool. Amer, if you need to get going, let me know. But if you can take a couple questions, that'd be really cool. And then we're gonna try and wrap up around 1:15. Is that cool?
Gucci.
Hey, Amer, I got a question for you.
Yep.
In your area over here in Las Cruces, they are charging people for bags. Are they doing that in where you guys are?
They just started on March 1st.
Yeah, they've been doing that over here for a good year or two now. They've been charging people for bags. So I think I think that eventually a lot of corporations will be wanting to save money, and who knows, it might be ahead of its time. Have you been working on the because I see how everybody wants convenience, everybody wants the speed, right? Have you been working on how I see how you wrap and you got to manually unfold it. So and it just popped in my head, something to where it can be easily, I guess you could say easily accessed. Like, let's just say, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking, too far ahead, but something to where push of a button or some type of springing mechanism to where it's just like flop out.
Yeah, something that's more mechanical maybe.
Because, and the reason why I said that is because I was watching on Shark Tank. I watch a lot of Shark Tank. There was this guy, and this is how he designed his bag, his I don't know what he did, but with one breath of air, he could literally inflate a bag. Like literally, it was a long bag that is like, let's just say if you want to do a small, pillow, he would, usually people have to blow and blow and blow and blow and blow to get it inflated. Well, this gentleman on Shark Tank, he just blew with one breath of air and it just like literally blew up. But it's how his bag was designed, and the inside is what was able to make it inflate with one breath of air. I don't know. Have you thought of something like that, or because I'm hearing what you just said as far as the process on continue, because it's always going to get better from what you're doing. Have you looked into anything like that? You might want to. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing a suggestion out there.
Yeah, man. No, that's super cool. And this is what makes the process super exciting for me, because I didn't know that. But now that I'm aware of that, I'll see at what point in this timeline that type of an application might work. And it might not even be for people in the city. Like that function might be, for example, I don't know, maybe more fit for the camping world or for like sailors or something. Like it doesn't need to be what I think it's going to be. That idea what need can it service?
Correct.
And, yeah, that's cool, dude. Thanks for even making me aware of that.
Yeah, no, by all means. I mean, just chiming in once again.
Yeah.
Glad that you chimed in. Does anybody else want to chime in? Mom, Dad, do you have any questions that you want to ask, or do you know everything?
They hear the ins and outs.
I have a question. So I wanted to know how it was for you to like balance between your essential, like your side hustle at the time and having a full-time job, or was it part-time?
Yeah, it was a full-time job.
Yeah, because I'm a full-time student, and like when I say full-time, like I do the absolute most for my school. But at the same time, like I have all these ideas I want to do, like involving like social innovation. So I wanted to know, like, what was that like for you, like to find that balance?
Terrible. It was awful. One of the things that I was in charge of was expense reports and making sure that all of the receipts were accounted for and everything. And I hate that stuff. Like Matt, you probably feel the same way, but
I do not like it at all.
The administrative side to work just makes me want to bang my face into something terrible. But I took it as this classroom. I took it as this active classroom, and just kind of thinking about it, like I'm being paid to learn about all of the things that I'm eventually going to need to do to run my own company. Everything that I'm doing here is in service to the direction that I want to be growing.
Right.
And especially even if it's not something that I'm going to be doing. I mean, my yoga mat is full of all my receipts from the past 2 years because I'm doing my taxes. But even if it's something that I don't want to be doing forever, at least I can empathize with someone later that I'm going to hire to do that. That's what I'm thinking. But
Yeah.
I see it all as this gift.
Okay, cool. And I have one more. Where do you look to like build upon your network for like the social innovation? Not just like was it CSI, but like other groups that you're a part of.
Say more.
Say more?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, like, do you go to networking events? Do you just look to host panels, or like, how do you find these people, or do they just find you?
Oh, that's super cool. And I think, and Matt, you probably can speak to this too. I think it's definitely both. But one thing that I can attest to, and I promise this will happen eventually, there's the shift that occurs whenever you're working on something you care about. And the shift is from people looking at you to people looking to you. And in the beginning, you're moving forward because you're curious and you want to learn about someone's process, or you want to attend this thing to gain language to inform this feeling or vision that you have. And then as you keep acting on that, eventually that flip occurs. And then it's both simultaneously. I'm so happy that things like this are occurring. And it's gotten to a point where if I'm just talking about it so much on my Instagram, so people that are following on my Instagram already kind of know what I'm up to. Like, hell yeah, Jesse for being here. That's freaking sick. So if, for example, if I need to support with admin stuff, or like, hey, does anyone know anyone that's working on this? Starting to put it out now, that culture has already been formed, or is still forming.
Yeah.
And
that's how I found you, through Loop, because they featured you. I think I told you this, but they featured you on their Instagram, and I was like, who is this person, and why does he get to be on the Instagram, and why does he have access to this product so fast? Because this is like the beginning of like my journey too. Like, I was taking an environmental studies class, and I'm in a fashion school, just to put that out there, so nothing in my major is towards that. And we had this project, and we had to like look up a company that was doing like innovation work. So like mine became Loop, and I became obsessed with it to the point where I just followed it all the way through. And that was in January of 2019. And then it was that summer where you started like posting about the products because they were like finally ready. And I was like, who is this person? And I looked at your profile and like what you do and like all your companies. And I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to like talk to people and inspire and like do this cool work. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to meet this guy. I'm going to find a way to like, because like I saw you lived in the city. I was like, okay, he's in the city. So that's fine. That's all I need, because my school's in the city. And then this is next semester for me. And I meet this woman named Alexandra McNair. You know her. She works at CSI. She has her own nonprofit called Fashion Forward. And we connected. Because she was teaching there. And I noticed she followed you on Instagram, and when I asked about it, she was like, oh yeah, he works here too, in the same building as us. And I was like, no way, like this is my moment now. But it took me like to the end of the internship to meet you, because I think you were like so busy with Marketplace of the Future and stuff, because I went to that event and it was so cool. It was so cool. And I really wish, I didn't know about that event until the day of. Actually, it was like a lot of last minute stuff, but that's like not your fault. Like but I wish like my school is like falling in love so quickly with being in sustainable, especially like fashion, because the fashion industry is the second biggest polluter. And what our jobs as students, like I could tell you right now, all the stuff that we are learning about is geared towards how do we become innovative and find ways to be more sustainable within the fashion industry, because it's just its own monster. Like so I totally lost where I was going with this. But I think that would have been, I think it would have been like, please let me know when you're doing this. I'm sure like, cause I'm like keeping up more with you. But like, I think I would love my school to take like actually like a field trip to that and have teachers during school, like, cause like it's held on a weekday. So yeah, there's classes happening. So anyway, yeah, but my point was to like, that's how we connected. Like I guess I'm looking towards you now for like information.
That's freaking cool.
So, yeah. Speaking of looking towards you, let's close up because I gotta get going. and I want to be respectful of everyone's time that spent all the time here. If you go into the chat, there's a little chat function. I threw up some links where you might be able to find Amer's work. There's futuremeetpresent.com, marketplaceofthefuture.com, and braceletote.squarespace.com. They're all places where you can see his stuff. Any last closing remarks you want to say?
There you go.
Oh, braceletote.co. Sweet.
No, man, this is so cool. Matt, thank you so much for doing this, for having these conversations. You were a really good interviewer.
Oh, thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah, listen super well, ask great questions. I love it so much. This is awesome. And what is it? Anina, Hannah, Christy, Jesse, Mom, Dad, Gabriella, and Gandhi. Thank you for being here.
Thanks everyone for being here.
We really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you so much. That's amazing.
We really
I enjoyed it too.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck to all of you.
So if anybody wants to tune into another one of these, or if anybody's watching online later on and not live, you can watch more of these at artpluspeople.com/lunch. That's what it is for now. But you can go to Art Plus People for a whole host of different things. Really quickly, the last thing that I want to say before we go, and we'll let this be the last thing, is that one of the ways that at least I've heard people talk about you, our mutual friend Andy is a huge fan of your work and the things that you're doing. And then I've just heard little bits from other people. And you've had this amazing way of creating opportunity, I think, because of how open you are. And the doors open for people to access you. And because of that, it's like luck flows in through that doorway. And you're very open, you're smiling, you're happy, you're saying yes. Like when we talked about doing this interview, it was like yes immediately was the answer. I just wanted to say thanks so much for being open like that. And also, like, is it hard? Do you think it's easy? Is it what makes you so open?
That's such a good question. It is. Well, I think it is kind of hard, especially in the quarantine days when we're just at home, and all the time we just have the 8-10 hours a day to do whatever it is we need to do. I'm finding myself looking for a new balance from when I need to flip my phone over and do my stuff, or when I need to take that FaceTime call that's coming in, which is my natural modality. I love it. I just love people. And I've just always been really happy that people want to be my friend and that people want to hang out and talk and play Halo and get on Zoom. It just gets me really excited. I just appreciate it all. So I don't know. It's just cool.
All right. Thanks so much for being here. Also, just fun fact, because it's fun and timely. I've been doing this project called Socially Distant, which I'm going to put in the chat. And we had I didn't come in as a link, but that's there. We had a New York Times reporter approach us today, and that's what I was distracted about earlier because they want to know more about the project. I don't know if they're going to write a story or do whatever, but
sick.
I'm pretty excited about that. And so I would, if you would humor me, everyone on this call. I don't know for your parents what it might look like to call from Turkey, but essentially what I started, this is one of my many projects. I just want to archive stories of people that are going through different things. And so if anybody wants to call this number that's on the screen right now, I would love it if you did, because I think there's only like 4 or 5 contributions right now. It just launched. If we have more people there and the New York Times writes a thing about it, or it shows up as something that they post on their Instagram, a bunch more people will do it. So you might end up being the like seeds that people see first, and you can be in there before everyone else. So anyway, if you feel like doing it, I would love for you to do that. And we need people to contribute. So this is like my shameless pitch right now. If you want to send that to your friends, go for it. Get in before the flood comes. That'd be really cool. Once again, so from other countries, I don't know what that would be like. I think it would be the same as, it's like any call that you would make to a non-number. Like I'm sure you could call in on Skype or something like that. Hannah, if it's an issue money-wise, let me know. I'll wire you $5 so you can call. Whatever. Let me know.
Okay.
I think you might be able to call through Google Voice. I'm not sure. We're going to figure out the international thing. Yeah, we're going to figure out the international thing and have people do it. Hannah, if you want to call, like I'm seeing in the chat that Hannah's asking about it. If you want to send me a voice message, I'll run it through our system. If you want to do that, we will figure out a way to get you on it. Thanks everybody for being here. Again, thanks for letting me shamelessly pitch my thing. Go check out all of Amer's stuff. He's just incredible and doing really amazing work in sustainability. And we'll see you around. Everybody stay hungry, stay creative, and we'll see you next time.
Be safe. Be safe, everybody. Be safe, please.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care. Take care, everyone.
Put mask. Wear mask.
Bye, Amer's mask.
Thanks, Dad. Bye.
Bye.